This is part 2 of the Onyx series that I've been doing, and in the first video we went on the computer and we really searched out this one area and we looked at different things of the areas that we would look and the things that we would look for on the actual map, and we pointed those out and everything. So if you haven't seen that video, I'll put it in the link in the description. You can watch it first. But in this video what we're doing is we're actually going to the property and we're going to those areas that we've seen on the map, and we're going to see if we can find sign and see if those are areas where deer might actually be. And so it should be a fun time, and hopefully you guys can learn some things on how to use maps and where to find some bugs.
Alright guys, so the first place that we're going to go is in this far corner where I had pointed out before that I thought would be good bedding area for these deer, some of these grown-up areas. Now, this is a spot here where I said that they could have planted crops, but obviously they haven't planted anything. Now they could in the fall, but it don't look like anything has been planted in here in a long time. As you can see, it's just all grown up. It's all nasty and everything, so haven't really planted anything in here. But they do have some roads where it looks like they may have bush hogged these roads once or so. But anyway, so we're gonna get down here into more of this thicker area and see if we can find some areas where some deer have been bedded down in this stuff, and just see if we can find any buck beds. I came back in here in this thicket and I'm searching it all out. Haven't found any beds yet or anything like that. Haven't jumped any deer that I know of, but I did find spots right here. I don't know if you can see that, but good trails coming in and out of this thicket right here where all these trees are, which would be a perfect place to bed. I already looked in there, didn't see any beds yet, so I haven't found anything good yet, but there definitely is quite a bit of traffic coming in and out of here. The places that are wore down, so you can tell that deer have been coming through here. So I'm going to keep working my way around in this thicket and just see if I can find some fresh beds where I can see where deer have laid down in these thickets in here. Down in this thicket, it's kind of a bowl down here, and whenever we get a lot of rain, I guess it holds a little bit of water. It's real muddy down here. It's dried out because we haven't got rain in a while, but there's a lot of deer tracks in here. So they're definitely, they're old deer tracks. So probably back whenever there was water in here, they were coming in here. I'm down in this river bottom. The thicket is up here behind me, and I came down here in this river bottom, and it's all real tall grass and real grown up down here, which would be a perfect place for them to bed too. It's kind of cool down here. There goes deer right there. Some deer just snorted and took off running. I don't think I got them on camera, but now this river bottom is running west and east. It's not that wide. You could actually get about in the middle of it, and any deer coming through here you could get a shot at, but that'd be more for the rut. If not, you'd have to kind of figure out where they were bedded in here. Go through here and see if we can find kind of where they might be bedded. And another thing I'd say, most of them would probably, the hill kind of goes up on this side over here, and on that hill I would guess that they would bed up on the hill where they could see this down in here, you know, but who knows, they could bed, it's so grown up in here they could bed anywhere. You just have, it'd take a lot of walking to try to find the beds. You'd have to just zigzag in and out of this brush and try to find areas where they've been laying down. Alright guys, this is exactly what I was talking about. So I got to this spot, I came down here closer. I came down here closer where these deer snorted, where I heard them and seen them running off, where I spooked them, and I got down here and this is where that ditch is, and there is just trails all through right where these ditches are. So you'd know this would be a good spot. And then of course, all these tracks coming up through this sand. Now, so far I have not seen a spot on the river that looks like it's a good crossing spot where they can go down, because it's a pretty steep bank, but I'm gonna keep looking and just see if I can find something. So I finally found a spot where it's a pretty good traffic area where they're coming down this steep bank, and it's really steep over on this side, but it's not near as steep right here. And you can see their tracks where they jumped up there, and then in the sand up on top of the ridge, there's a bunch of tracks up there. And then right here on this river, it's real shallow in this spot. So it'd be an easy area for them to cross the river right here. So I'd say this would be about your best spot for them if you wanted to, you know, watch them cross the river or set up on a pinch point like this where they would cross. But honestly, if I was gonna hunt in here, I wouldn't pick this area just because it just don't look like it's used as much as some of those spots that I seen up there. I'd rather hunt up there in those, I'd rather hunt up there in that thicket instead of hunt one of these spots like this. Now during the rut, this might be pretty good, but still I think I'd rather hunt in that thick riverbed that is all grown up. I just think you'd have a lot better luck of seeing bucks cruising through there than crossing this river. But if they were gonna cross the river, this would be a good spot for them to cross, and you can tell just by all the tracks that are crossing the river. Well guys, I finally found it. Finally found what I was looking for. I just jumped a little 8-pointer with velvet on. So he was bedded right over here. I knew, see if you can see, I don't know if you can see very well, but this is a big bank. It goes down right here, and it goes down into that river bottom. That river bottom, it's like an old river bottom, and then it drops down again, and it's the actual river. So this river bottom right here, they can see down here, and this is a bank, and so I knew deer would lay up on this bank. And so I got up on this bank and I started walking down. As I was walking down the bank, boom, I jumped him. So now let's go over there and see where he was bedded. He's bedded in this thick greenery right here. So he was bedded right here. See all this cover right here? He's bedded right there. See how this is, see how that one is smashed down, laying right there sideways? This is where that deer was bedded. Right in this thick spot. He has that big old branch right here blocking the sun. Then he has all this greenery right around there blocking him in, and he was laying right here on this deal. Right in this hole right here, laying right there. So, and then if you look this way, this is where he goes out. And he can see all down through there. And the wind was hitting him. As he's looking this way, the wind was hitting him right in the back. And I came walking down this bank this way, and he spotted me and took off running. So, that's what you look for, just like that. So on those maps, now I'm still really close to that thicket, okay? I'm right here, and you can see I'm close to that thicket. And so I was around in the right area, but I would have never been able to find this old creek bed in here and how thick it was in here. I didn't realize it was gonna be like that until I got here. So that shows just how much you have to go down here. Now all I have to do is on my Onyx app, I have to just mark this right here where I'm at. I'm by his bed. Click this and I'll know, hey, this is where that bed is, and this is where I jumped that buck. So I know that there's probably deer bedded in this area, and I'm probably not even 50 yards from where I jumped those other deer that took off running and snorted at me. And I don't know, I'd say those were does, but I didn't get a good look at them. I just seen them running away through the woods. So this one I got a pretty good look at him, and he was a little 8-pointer. I came cutting across this field here, and I was checking all these thick areas here. You can see there's briars here, and then the sun's bad right there, but you can see the briars and all the thick brush there. And I came cutting through here, and I found these fresh beds. I mean, these are really put down. And to me, it looks like probably doe. They don't look that big, especially the one over here. This one looks a little bit bigger, but probably just doe beds. But as you can see, every time you get in this thick cover and this thick brush, I mean, it's a perfect place for these deer to lay down. They love laying down in these thick fields and this thick cover. It's one of my favorites. Now, the best thing about this is I'm about, 75 yards from where I jumped that buck in this field where he was laying next to. But what's great is the hill. As you can see here, that hill goes up. So you could set up there, you know, if you had a northerly wind, you could set up there, and that north wind would hit you, and you could watch these deer and see exactly where they're bedding and then make a game plan on them. You might even be able to see that buck going through that side over there, because I'm sure that he goes through this field every once in a while. So this is a really good spot. I knew when I saw this thick spot on the map on onX that it would be a good place to look. And so anytime you're looking on your map and you try to find some thick areas like this, that looks like it'd be good for them to come in. And the thing that I also like about it, the one thing that makes me really like this area a lot, is not only that they have these thick fields that they can come out in, but these fingers that come out into this field. It provides cover, and there's open areas too. And deer love that mixed habitat where there's all different kinds. They got hardwoods, and they got thickets, and they got fields all in one area. And that's just great. That's just great locations for deer to be. So. I just came in 40 yards down this creek. What it is a dry creek, just a wet weather creek that runs into the river. Going down at the bottom of these ridges. Well, coming down, I haven't walked 40 yards into the woods and already jumped a spike and a doe. She was blowing at me and going up the hill. So just a little tip that if you're early season hunting, if you like to hunt with a bow, you know, in September, the end of September, here in Missouri, you can hunt the end of September or the beginning of October. These creek bottoms is a great place to get in there and see if you can find a spot where you can hunt and try to catch these deer in these creek bottoms. Well, guys, I made it way down this creek bottom. I didn't see much more sign and didn't jump any more deer that I know of, but I just down there at the beginning by the river is where I seen most of the deer. I could walk up this ridge and check the top of these ridges like we had looked at on the map, but I'm running out of time. I got to get back to the house. I got some plans this afternoon. So hopefully there's some tips on here that might help you whenever you're using a map system and going out and looking for deer sign that'll help you in the next season, whenever you want to go hunting. I know with it being real hot like it is right now in the middle of the summer, you know, the deer's patterns could change when deer season gets here, but normally at the beginning of October and in September, when most people go out hunting, it still is really warm outside, and so these deer are normally in about the same pattern, and then about the middle of October or the beginning of October is when they switch patterns and go to their winter homes instead of their summer homes. So it really can do a lot of good whenever you hunt and whenever you scout in the summer, and you can find these spots that would be really good for hunting. So if you haven't tried out onX Maps, you ought to try that out. I mean, it's one of the best maps for going out and finding awesome spots and marking your spots whenever you're scouting for deer. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any other questions or you want to see some other videos, you have some ideas about onX Maps or about scouting, just put them in the comments below and I really would appreciate it. And we thank you so much for watching, and we will see you guys on the next one.